You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey GH watchers, I want to talk about what's ahead when Jason Morgan is back in Port Charles. Right now, Drew Cain's been busy burning bridges just before his not-so-identical twin returns. This is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I want to discuss why the two brothers might cross swords almost as soon as Jason comes back to town, all resurrected and alive, and shocks everybody. But first, please click subscribe if you haven't already, and now let's jump into this. So we have Drew Cain spiraling out into a sort of dark, vengeful path after he got out of prison. I don't want to get too deep into whose fault that was. Anytime I discuss the SEC stuff, I'm accused by Carly lovers of loving Nina, who's terrible, and then Nina lovers tell me I'm sympathizing with Carly, who they think is terrible. Fact is, and I'm sticking to facts, Drew was in prison because he chose to take the fall for Carly. That's what he decided to do. Carly did the crime. He chose to do the time. And unironically, the most recent malpractice storyline brought that SEC stuff into it. They mentioned that the family that's suing Fem lost a buttload of money when Aurora stocks tanked, and Carly was all in that mess and was responsible for a lot of what happened with that, with the stock prices. Financial crimes do have victims, people. That's real world stuff. Anyway, Drew was already fuming and being demanding and pushy with his family, specifically with Sam McCall and their daughter Scout, even before he knew that Nina Reeves dropped a dime on what Carly did, and then he jumped to his girlfriend's defense. So remember that. He was already kind of not being, so nice. And then when he found out Nina called the stock cops and Michael Corinthos kept the truth hidden, well, it's like Drew went nuclear. Why hasn't he gone nuclear on Carly for buying up all that stock illegally when he said don't do it and she did it? I mean, that's where the problem started. But of course, he's never going to get on to her about it. I cannot see that happening, even though that is what started this whole thing. So now we have Drew fired Nina, gave Carly her job, which, mind you, Carly didn't want the job. She's got Bobby's Diner. She's a mom. She's busy. But Drew would not take no for an answer. I think he kind of low-key pressured her, softly bullied her into taking Nina's job. I didn't enjoy that interaction and the way he was pressuring Carly and basically not giving her an out when she didn't want it. Carly just wanted to be there to see Nina get fired and to see Drew offering her the job. Carly didn't want it, but now she's stuck with it because Drew pressured her into saying yes. And of course, Carly feels guilty for Drew going to prison in her place, so she's going to do what he wants up to a point. Okay, just up to a point. I feel like things between them are going to get messier by the time Jason is back. So this week, we're going to see Drew and Michael Corinthos reach an impasse. Remember, Michael's been running Aurora Media while Drew was behind bars. So they were plotting again recently to try and merge ELQ and Aurora so they could keep Ned Quartermain out of power. But that may all blow up this week. Thursday's episode sees Drew and Michael ending their work relationship. It seems they can't coexist at the office anymore. That's because Drew raged at Michael for choosing Sonny's happiness over his own. But Drew needs to check himself before he wrecks himself. I have one 3-letter word for him, and that word is duh. Duh. Yes, Drew, of course. Michael prioritized his father's happiness over sharing news that would make pretty much everybody else miserable. The only people that are happier now that the SEC truth is out are Ned and his wife, Olivia, because they didn't like him being the presumed snitch. Other than those two, Every other person involved is unhappier for the truth coming out. Sonny's hurting. Drew is raging in a fury. Carly's got her panties in a bunch. Willow's panties are stuck up her backside too. Nina's heartbroken. The little kids are confused why Nina's not with Sonny. Friends are being forced to take sides or play neutral Switzerland and hope they don't make anybody mad. So you can see in one sense why Michael kept the truth to himself. He knew some of this would happen, but of course he was also hiding the truth so he could control Nina and try and limit her interactions with Willow. Aside from the Willow thing, I do see Michael was trying to delay the inevitable angst that's happening right now. But Drew is so angry at him. He somehow thinks Michael should choose him over Sonny. I mean, come on, that's crazy. Michael should always pick family over friends, and Drew is family, but not close family like some other people. Most of us should choose family over friends in most cases. So we have Drew, I think, about to kick Michael out of Aurora Media this week. We'll know more, in the next couple of days. That means Mikey will have to go suck up to Valentine if he wants to come back to ELQ. Maybe Michael will go over there and conspire with Ned. Maybe even conspire with Valentine. We'll see. So that's the emotional upheaval we have right now, just as Jason Morgan is set to return. The kid he helped raise, Michael, is on the receiving end of his twin brother's temper fit. Remember, Jason was actually raising Michael alone as a single parent while Carly was suffering postpartum depression and she couldn't even hold little Michael. Jason was there for Michael for all that. And even though Carly finally married Sonny and he adopted Michael, the bottom line is the first father that ever raised him was Jason. It wasn't AJ. It was Jason. It wasn't Drew. He wasn't around. So that's deep history. That's deep bonding. And yes, Michael is Jason's nephew, but he also grew up around Jason. Drew's a late comer. He didn't raise Michael. He didn't watch him grow up. So he doesn't have that same sensibility about him, nor does Michael have that same attachment to Drew. So I don't think that Jason's going to like what's going on with Michael. I don't think Jason's going to like Drew pressuring Sam as a co-parent or pressuring Carly into keeping a job she never wanted. All in all, I think Jason and Drew could have a pretty significant showdown once the one twin resurrects and heads back to Port Charles. I'm still hoping the spoiler of someone from Liz's past at her door is about Jason. I mean, he was nearly crushed in a cave-in, so I wonder where he's been for the last couple of years. I know all you guys wonder. I assume part of that was spent recovering from some significant injuries, but with Jason unsure about his status with Sonny, knowing Carly is with Drew or thinking Carly is still with Sonny, maybe that's why Stone Cold doesn't go to that house, to Casa Corinthos. I could see him showing up at Liz's door looking for help. So for me, I'd love it if that spawned a romance, by the way, and she let Hammy Finn down gently, or even not gently. All she seems to do lately is, be his cheerleader. She has no storyline of her own. That being said, I don't want Liz to turn around into Jason's cheerleader and have no storyline of her own. So we'll see how it goes. The clock is ticking down. I do expect to see Jason towards the tail end of February sweeps. We'll see. General Hospital will infuriate fans, if they don't manifest him soon. They dangled Steve Burton's return on the January 4th GH primetime special. If they don't deliver on that teaser, they are going to pay with fan outrage. If Jason debuts towards the end of sweeps, that would be a little shy of 2 months. That's still a while to make fans wait, but that's tolerable. If it goes much longer than that, I think the ratings are going to suffer with people's impatience. We'll see how it goes. But I also expect Drew might not be happy to see Jason if his twin's going to read him the riot act. I also don't think Drew is going to take kindly to Jason's return if it will take anything from him, like Carly, for instance, or other friends. I mean, he's a shadow of Jason in many ways. Burton's the OG. and his twin is a retcon creation. So we'll see. But I'm betting that once Burton is back, Jason and Drew butt heads. We'll see how it goes. Please drop your comments below. Definitely click subscribe if you haven't already, and come back soon. This is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I'm here talking GH with you 7 days a week.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.